Learning from adult role models who are blind or low vision, presented by Outreach Programs, the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind. The CSDB logo is displayed with the tagline, Learning, Thriving, Leading. Title, Keiko. In this opening scene, our presenter Keiko is standing in front of an auditorium stage holding her violin. Keiko is seated in the media center. Captions are below on screen.
Hi, I'm Keiko Brunson. I am 20 years old and I am from Denver, Colorado. My visual impairment occurred when I was 2 months old. I was diagnosed with retinoblastoma. Up until about age 5, I was left with very minimal vision. During that time, it also I think slowed me down in terms of speech. I didn't start talking until I was about 3, but what was so great during that time was that I had so much support from family and friends, and my parents reached out to various people and resources that enabled me to find other ways to cope and to accommodate for my for my vision loss. During the time I had very low vision, I became very dependent on my sense of hearing, which was incredible because during that time I also picked up, kind of found my love for music. And so during that time I started to play piano at what was the Yamaha Music School in Hawaii, where I grew up. And that was a phenomenal experience because I could learn music by ear and developed perfect pitch, more or less, which really enabled me to kind of go forward with that love for music and with using the senses that I had. And over time, I slowly started to gain more vision in my right eye.
Title, Self-Advocacy.
I think it was a very eye-opening experience for my parents as well, because they jumped into my educational experience and taught me to be a self-advocate and to stand up for myself and say, this isn't working for me in the classroom. These are the resources I would like. These are this is where I'm lacking. And so it was a learning process for sure, and it was difficult because I was kind of very much in my shell, and so it was hard for me to speak up and say I can't see this, or I would like an extension on this assignment because of my visual impairment. And so it really helped me to break out of my shell and to communicate with teachers and other faculty and staff about finding various resources. When I ask you questions about what is this magnifier, or how does this work, or in this situation, how do you approach this situation? And I think it's been very inspiring to communicate with them and say, well, for example, in terms of orientation and mobility, I'm legally blind, and so I can't drive, but I take advantage of public transportation, and the orientation and mobility lessons I've had from my previous vision teacher. It wasn't just helping you get from point A to point B with a cane or with a monocular to look at traffic lights and street signs, but she put the real life aspect into it. Like, let's plan a trip from your house to Chipotle, and then take the bus back to the light rail station and take that back home. And so, kind of getting to plan that trip that you would, for something that you would do on a daily basis was a great experience for me to see.
Title, Education.
And kind of going back to reading, that's something that I found really great too, and also I think this is a great, this is great for parents, because this is something my parents noticed was once I started gaining more vision back, I didn't like to read. It was just because I got eye fatigue. It was difficult because I got frustrated because I couldn't read as fast as everyone else in my class. But I found it started when I just found things I liked to read, and so the first thing I picked up were cookbooks. And so whether it is a cookbook or a sports magazine or a picture book or a comic book, it's starting from that point that you find something that you're passionate about and you enjoy reading, and that kind of puts more meaning in it for you, and then from there you can kind of bring that into your other academic readings or such. Throughout elementary school, I had several teachers' assistants who have both helped me and kind of sent me on different paths to where some of them didn't understand what it was like to be visually impaired or how to best serve someone like myself in different situations. But I remember one so fondly that she taught me how to take notes and how to be a self-advocate, how to ask for help, how to kind of put myself out there and communicate with others about my impairment, but at the same time to also fit in and learn alongside everyone else. I will be a senior at Cornell College starting in the fall. After graduating, I plan to get my master's and become a teacher for the visually impaired.
Title: Closing Advice.
I think it's great to look at every student's abilities and strengths and meet them wherever they're at, because that's what my parents and family and teachers and fellow students did for me, was to meet me where I at, whether it was in terms of reading level or understanding of every part of education and just parts of daily life and orientation and mobility, and to go from there and to make it fun, to kind of bring real life situations into it, and to not hold my hand, but be there for me and push me along and continue to let me be a self-advocate for myself, and to kind of go for the ride on my own and learn as I go. Definitely hit some walls and fall down time after time, but to keep getting up and to change poison into medicine, to take whatever obstacle it is you're facing, and to turn it around and to use it to the best of your ability, and to make yourself shine.
Learning from adult role models who are blind or low vision has been a production of the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, 33 North Institute Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80903, 719-578-2100, www.csdb.org. Videography by Deb Branch and Sean Levier, copyright 2014.
Audio description, Jim Olson. Editing assistants, Diane Covington, Dr. Laura Douglas. Captioning, Neil Anthony Thomas, Corey McCormick. Transcription, Eleanor Vasquez.